Welcome to Healthy Vegan Living. I'm Gary, and today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be cooking this gigantic stalk of Brussels sprouts. And we're not going to take them off and cut them individually. We're going to cook them just like this, like on the vine. We're going to cook them in a maple, pepper, onion, and nooch, which is nutritional yeast combination on the top. We'll be cooking in the oven at 350 degrees for approximately 35 to 45 minutes. So this will be a starch solution meal because on the side of the Brussels sprouts we're going to be placing little potatoes. And that way we have a combined meal of our starch and our vegetables. But that's not the only thing. Since I've started this diet, and I started on August 2nd of this year, 2020, I have lost 33 pounds. I'm a lot thinner over here. I'm really doing good. I have more energy and I'm a lot happier. I don't snore anymore. My little age spots that come back are gone and I feel better. And I really feel that if you go and start this starch solution diet, you're going to notice that your body's doing better, that your numbers, your health numbers are going to be better. As you can see on the side of the screen, there's a little picture for the starch solution. That's the latest one that Dr. McDougall has done. But there are many other books, and all these other books have recipes in them, and they all are trying to show you this way of eating. Alright, so come and see how I do this, and I think you'll find it quite interesting.
Welcome to Healthy Vegan Living, a whole food, plant-based lifestyle.
The first thing we need to do is we have to turn on the oven. We're going to place it on bake for 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, then as soon as we get this all done, then what we'll be doing is we will glaze each of the Brussels sprouts on the stem, and then we'll transfer it to a baking pan with parchment paper on it, and after that we will place it in the oven. So what I'm doing is I'm making a glaze for each of these Brussels sprouts. I'm using 1 cup of maple syrup. I'm placing it in an individual container so that way if I have some left, I don't contaminate it with the other ones. I'm not mixing all the ingredients together. And I can still use it for, say, pancakes or on top of my cereal in the morning. I'm using 1 teaspoon of Montreal steak seasoning. I really like this stuff. Plus it's Montreal. I'm from Montreal. I kind of feel attached to it. I'm also using fine powdered garlic. So it's garlic powder. And I'm using nooch, which is nutritional yeast. And this will be placed at the very end. Alright, so let's get started. Your onion powder and your pepper, put that together. And just quickly mix it. You're going to be taking this and you're going to be pinching it on each of the glaze of the maple syrup tops of the Brussels sprouts. Just going to brush on the maple syrup all over each of the Brussels sprouts. And this takes a little bit of time, but it's well worth it. Meanwhile, the oven is getting warm. So today is December 3rd of 2020, and tomorrow is my birthday. And this is what I wanted for my birthday. I just love Brussels sprouts. I think they're wonderful. I tried to grow some in our garden and it just didn't work out this year. Okay, I'm making a fine mess. I want you to see that. So take it from the bottom of the parchment paper and put it on your leaves. probably going to have to put in new parchment paper. Otherwise it'll just stick to it. And you can't miss it. You see how if you take a look at each of the leaves of your Brussels sprouts, if it's not wet, you know it doesn't have the maple syrup on top. Now some people, what they do is they individually dip this. I don't know how they can possibly do that because it's on the stem. But you know, different people try different things. Alright, as you can see, it can make quite a mess. Then flip it over the other way, and this time it's on the plastic piece over here, and grab it from the bottom. And I haven't even come close to filling up the entire cup of maple syrup on the Brussels sprouts. Right now, maybe a quarter cup. That's about it. Okay, once you've made sure that each of the areas the Brussels sprouts are well coated, then put that away. Wash your hands. Because they're sticky right now. And you want to put in the pepper and onion powder on top, as much as possible on top of each of them. I think it's going to... Take your hand and do a pinch. We're just going to do the entire top over here. Now if you take a look on the internet, you will find many different types of glazes, and a lot of them people like to use cayenne pepper. But it's not one of our favorites, so we don't use it as often. Okay, that's that side. Now this is nooch. Instead of sprinkling it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this container and I'm going to shake it on there. This is how vegans and vegetarians get their vitamin B12. Alright, that doesn't work. It's not fine, so we're just going to sprinkle it. I'm using quite a lot because I like nooch. I think it has a wonderful taste. Okay. I want to stay where I want it. Okay, once that's done, put this to the side, and then I'm going to replace this right here. That's quite a mess. Take this, move it over here. I think I'm going to wash my pan. Now when the oven gets to 350 degrees, then what we're going to do is we're going to, wait a minute here, bake 350 start. I might have thought that I had started the oven, but for some reason it didn't happen. So as soon as the oven gets to 350 degrees, then we're going to take this entire pan, just like it is, and we're going to move it to the oven. Alright, so now for the potato option of this meal, what we're going to be doing is we're going to take some, what I do is I take a bag of small potatoes, like these came from These are from Tasteful Selections, Chef Pack, well, whatever. And what it is, it gives you a multitude of red and Yukon Gold potatoes. So just to make it easier for counting, when I grab one Yukon Gold, I grab a red potato. And I just need enough to kind of go on both sides of the Brussels sprouts. So we're going to just wash a lot more of these. And that way, okay, so then I use a colander like this, and just use a gentle spray, and I'm going to be washing them. And then, like this. And after that's done, then I put them, I get a fork, and I puncture each potato. The reason for that is because you don't want it to blow up. So, I went here, and I'm going to alternate them. One red, one Yukon, one red, one Yukon, back and forth until I get it done. We need a red, poke it, put it here, and we need a Yukon. I'm just going to push it against the edge of the Brussels sprouts so that it can have something to lean on. We poke it, put it here. Then we need a Yukon. I'm just going to push it against the edge of the Brussels sprouts so that it can have something to lean on, even though it's on the stem. If your potatoes have eyes, just take them off. It's not going to hurt you. Some people actually eat the eyes. Okay, then you do the other side. And then you do your Yukon, stick it in there, and your red. And it just makes it a really pretty plate, say for Thanksgiving, or for me, for example, for my birthday tomorrow. And the family can sit around and enjoy my meal I made for myself. Okay. So that indicates that the oven is ready for the food. So as soon as we finish the rest of these potatoes, okay, we're going to put them in. Now I want you to notice I'm not putting salt or anything on the potatoes. I use salt very sparingly. I only did it for this particular meal where I mixed the salt on top of the Brussels sprouts. Most of the time I eat raw. I like my Brussels sprouts just the way they are. It doesn't make any difference to me whether they're salted or not. Okay, that's done. Now we're going to put it in the oven. So now the festive loaf that's got red and white potatoes around the edges can easily go in the oven. The oven is already at 350 degrees. And for my oven, it seems to be just perfect. You're going to get some drips on the very edge because this goes over the pan area. But so when the oven cools, you do need to clean that up. Otherwise, next time you turn it on, it's going to smoke, and we don't want anything like that. So now this is going to stay in for 35 minutes, and then we'll recheck everything. Potatoes take usually longer. Normally what I do, if I'm in a real hurry for dinner, I microwave them ahead of time, and then I stick them in the oven. But this time we're putting them just like the way they are. So the potatoes might have to stay a lot longer. All right, let's get started. All right, so that's it for right now. We'll see you when it finishes, and then you can see how delicious it looks and how beautiful it can be used for your holidays or something special. I mean, who doesn't love Brussels sprouts on stem? I mean, the people who like cabbages probably just love it like me. All right, so we'll see in a little bit. Okay. So now we turn off the timer and we carefully check the oven. And then you use a fork and you pull out the rack, and the potato is going fairly good. Okay, now what the trick will be is to remove this without getting burnt. So the next thing we're going to do, turn it like this, and grab it from the bottom. For shiraken, I have a little bit of cleanup to do, but not too bad, and I'll do that when it cools. Turn off your oven so that nobody else gets burnt. Now it looks like this right now. You can tell that, oh yeah, that was hot. You can tell that they're roasted on and that the glaze that we put on is just perfect. Now the potatoes don't have glaze on them, and they've been in there for 30 minutes, and they're going just fine. They're all soft enough to be used. So let me show you how to plate it. Take a few of your potatoes, which are nice and hot. And just to arrange it nicely, you can put it up around the potatoes. So you wanted to have, ow, that one's really hot. And mix it up so that you have that look. All right, I can tell you that this plate is going to be just delicious because I can smell it. I can smell the Brussels sprouts and how delicious they are. So I'm just going to eat one of the Brussels sprouts because we all know what the potatoes taste like. And what has happened is the maple pepper onion glaze has kind of crystallized itself around the Brussels sprouts. And it just makes it a really tasty morsel. You get some of the stem, it's a little bit chewy. But this meal for my 68th birthday is almost better than cake. And it gives me a chance to stay to the starch solution where I'm eating potatoes for my starch and Brussels sprouts for my greens. Now remember, I have lost 33 pounds so far being on this diet. And I'm a lot trimmer looking, and I'm doing really good at it. It's a good diet to follow. It's not an easy diet because you're not eating any processed foods, you're not using any oil at all, or the least amount of oil possible. And it's surprising how much the manufacturers squeeze in oil, they even put it in milk. I just don't understand that. But anyway, this is a good meal. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you soon on our next video. Have yourself a wonderful day.
Sounded very good. Thank you.
You bet, Mom. Thank you. Do you want some of the Brussels sprouts?
No, not now.
Okay.
Subscribe to us and give us a thumbs up if you like this video. Thank you for watching.